How risky is it to renew your green card under Trump's administration? So I recently met with a client who's been a permanent resident since the 90s, but around 10 years ago, her green card expired. And this was a full, unrestricted 10-year green card. It was not a conditional green card. That's a different situation beyond the scope of today's video, but I've made several videos on that exact topic. So if you're interested in removing the conditions on your residency, check those videos out. So this client, we were talking and she admitted to me that her green card expired around 10 years ago. And she told me that she was going through some personal emergencies at the time with her marriage and with the health of one of her children. And it just slipped her mind. She wasn't able to renew it in time. And then she kept trying to renew it over the years, but the cost of it was expensive. And for some reason or another, she just never got around to renewing it. And now she's in my office talking to me almost in tears, explaining that she doesn't want to get deported. She realizes that she's no longer a permanent resident and she wanted to know what she can do to fix this. The main takeaway that I want you to receive from this video is that your green card, the physical card, is not your immigration status. You have permanent residence regardless of whether or not your green card expires, assuming you are physically present inside the United States. There are some exceptions. If you depart the US for more than a year, there might be an argument that you've abandoned your green card, but even then, you're still a permanent resident until you voluntarily sign Form I-407 to voluntarily give up your green card, or an immigration judge orders you deported from the United States. If you've been out of the US for more than a year, I've made videos on this exact topic. Check my video library and watch that video from a couple months ago. So what actually happens when you fail to renew your green card in a timely fashion? Nothing. You continue to be a permanent resident. Now, it's gonna be difficult to get a new job if your employer requires evidence of your immigration status, which they all should, and you're gonna have trouble traveling. Not only because the airline won't physically be able to prove that you have a right to enter the United States, so they might not let you board, but when you make it to the United States port of entry, let's say you're in Mexico or Canada and you're driving back, you're gonna have trouble dealing with Customs and Border Protection. But even if your green card is expired, with some exceptions, if you are still a permanent resident, they will eventually let you back into the United States. I've seen this happen where people have left the United States, lost their green card, and then traveled to Mexico or Canada and then tried to drive back into the US. Immigration will detain you, hold you for a couple hours, fingerprint you, verify your identity, and then they will probably allow you back into the United States because you are, in fact, a permanent resident with or without that card. And now to answer the central question of this video, how risky is it to renew your green card under Trump's new USCIS? And the answer is not risky at all. In fact, I've seen people with disqualifying criminal histories, people with criminal histories that could render them deportable from the United States, successfully renew their green cards even after the green card has expired. It seems that currently USCIS does not seem to do background checks of any significant nature when you apply to just renew your green card. So if you have a serious criminal history, you should speak with an immigration attorney because these policies can change overnight, and I don't want you to file for a green card renewal and then end up in deportation proceedings because of your criminal history. But generally speaking, just renewing your green card doesn't seem to trigger anything in my experience. And if you're watching this video and you're just afraid because you've seen a lot of immigration enforcement action over the news and you have no criminal history, then I would feel pretty comfortable renewing my green card. Nothing's gonna happen if you don't have any significant criminal history, and even in some instances where people have criminal history, nothing seems to happen when they renew their green card. They just get a receipt notice, an extension notice, and then the green card ends up getting approved and arriving in the mail. So if you got to the end of this video and you're still wondering, yeah, but he doesn't get my personal situation. Can I personally renew my green card? If you're worried, you can always schedule a consultation directly with me. We can go through your situation and assess the risks of whether or not you should renew your green card. In fact, I recently consulted with a guy who has a very serious criminal history. He has a crime that would be rendered to be an aggravated felony under the Immigration and Nationality Act, which pretty much means you're always deportable, and for naturalization purposes, you always have bad moral character, and it's just a matter of time before the government realizes that he has an aggravated felony conviction. Under those circumstances, I told him, let's not renew your green card, because even though I think there's like a 90% chance you'll get a new physical card in the mail if we apply to renew this, that small percentage that the government could realize that you have an aggravated felony conviction is just not worth getting a new green card. And in this situation, I would do nothing at all. And that's what I think was actually in his best interest. But if you're wondering what's in your best interest or what you should do in your particular situation, feel free to schedule a consultation. I also assist people with family-based immigration, naturalization, and we do some deportation defense. So if you have questions about any of those topics, reach out. I would love to speak with you about your case. And for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Pouyan Darian. I'm an immigration attorney, and I try to put out several videos each week on immigration-related topics, from marriage-based green cards, naturalization, and Trump's immigration policy changes. If you're interested in these topics, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.